Hari Om children. Let us start our class with our Almighty's blessing. I love you. Sit straight. Join your hands. Close your eyes. Breathe in. Chant Om for 3 times. Okay? Breathe in now. Om. Breathe out. Breathe in. Om. Breathe out. Breathe in. Om.
सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
Learning objectives. In this lesson, we are going to learn about the Palayakaras system. The revolt of the Palayakaras against the British. That is, the revolt against the British by various Palayakaras like Velu Nachiyar, Pulidevar, Veerapandiya Kattabomman, Marudhu brothers and Dheeran Chinnamalai. Among them, Pulidevar was the first Palayakara to resist against the British. This revolts against the British by the Palayakaras were called as the Palayakara War. Finally, it led to the Vellore Revolt in 1806. Introduction. Overview of the lesson. Before we see detailedly about the lesson, we should know briefly about the Carnatic Wars to understand the lesson better. Carnatic War is a war between French and the Nawabs. As the Nawabs were not as powerful as the French, they asked the help of the British. British also supported the Nawabs. Directly it was a war between the French and the Nawabs, but indirectly it was a war between the French and the British. So, indirectly it was a war between the French and the British. The reason was to know who has to hold the supremacy in the country. That is, to show their power, to increase their trade in India, and also to occupy and control the major part of the country. So, to show their supremacy and the power in India, the war was indirectly a war between the French and the British. Finally, after 3 Carnatic Wars, the British defeated the French. The British East India Company started to extend its power and influence. But the local kings and feudal chieftains resisted this. That is, the feudal chieftains are the people who were powerful in that community. So in the southern part of Tamil Nadu, the Palayakaras were very powerful and they were called as the feudal chieftains in that region. The first person to resist the British was Pulidevar from Nerkattum Seval, which is in Tirunelveli. Many others started to follow Pulidevar, like we saw already. They are Velu Nachiyar, Veerapandiya Kattabomman, Marudhu brothers and Dheeran Chinnamalai. This was known as the Palayakaras Revolt, the highest point of which was led to the Vellore Revolt in 1806. Next we will see what is a Palayam and who were the Palayakaras, how this Palayakara system was formed in Tamil Nadu. Next we will see what is a Palayam and who were the Palayakaras. In the early days, Pandyas were ruling the southern region of Tamil Nadu. Next, came the Mughals, defeating Pandyas. Later on, these Mughals were defeated by the Vijayanagar Empire and they started to rule that region. The Vijayanagar king are basically from Andhra. This is how Vijayanagar rule came to Tamil Nadu. In order to rule Tamil Nadu, Vijayanagar king appointed Nayak. Vishwanatha Nayak was the first Nayak appointed by Vijayanagar king to rule the conquered parts of Tamil Nadu. These Nayaks divided the whole region into 72 palayams. Palayams are nothing but villages. Villages are called as the palayam. And for each village, the Nayak appointed a head. So the whole region of southern part of Tamil Nadu, that is the conquered region, was divided into 72 palayams by the Nayak. Next, the Nayak appointed heads for each palayam. The heads of the palayam were the retired military officers and the person who were best performers in the military service. So they were appointed as the head of the palayam and they were called as the palayakaras. The duty of the palayakaras was to govern their respective palayam, that is the village, and report the status of the village to the Nayak. This is known as the palayakara system. This palayakara system was in practice in Kakatiya kingdom in Warangal during the rule of the king Prataparudra. This system was introduced to Tamil Nadu by Vishwanatha Nayak with the support of his minister Aryanadar. So, on the advice of his minister Aryanadar, Vishwanatha Nayak introduced this system, that is the palayakara system, to Tamil Nadu. That is in 1529, while he was the ruler of Madurai, he introduced this system. The palayakaras were the head of the palayam. Now we will see the duties of the palayakaras. The first main duty of the palayakaras was to govern the palayam. Next, they have to collect the tax. They also have to solve the disputes and the problem faced by the people. They have to maintain the law and order in that region. This police duty of the palayakaras were called as the Padikaval or Arasukaval. At many times, palayakaras had helped Nayaks during the war by providing them the required military service. So, as we have already seen, the palayakaras are the retired military officers or the military heads. So, whenever there is a war or a defense, these palayakaras provide military service to the Nayak. So this helped them to maintain a close friendly relationship with each other. So there was a close relationship between the Nayak and the palayakaras. Therefore, this palayakara system lasted for about 200 years in Tamil Nadu. Eastern and Western Palayam. Among the 72 palayakaras created by the Nayak rule, they divided the region into 72 palayams. These palayams were in turn categorized as a whole into two parts, that is the Eastern Palayam and Western Palayam. The places which come under the Eastern Palayam are Sattur, Nagalapuram, Ettayapuram and Panjalam Kurchi. And the region which come under the Western rule are Uttumalai, Talavangotai, Naduvakurchi, Singampatti and Seidur. During the 17th and 18th century, these palayakaras were holding the supremacy in the southern part of Tamil Nadu. So they were very popular and they were dominating the southern part of the Tamil Nadu. Next we will see revenue collecting authority to the company rule. That is how the power of collecting tax went to the hands of the British. During the Carnatic Wars, the Arcad of Nawab had borrowed money from British East India Company. We have already seen about the Carnatic Wars, and during that time the Nawabs were helped by the British. British supported the Nawabs. During that time Nawab had borrowed money from the British. As the days have gone, the Nawabs were unable to repay the money which they have borrowed from the British. In order to compensate the debt, he gave the power of collecting tax to the British. So அந்த பணத்தை வந்து திருப்பி கொடுக்க முடியாதனால அவங்க என்ன பண்றாங்கன்னா அந்த southern part of தமிழ்நாடுல tax collecting power வந்து பிரிட்டிஷ்க்கு கொடுக்கறாங்க. So these British have to collect the tax from the Palayakaras. As we already know, the Palayakaras were in power for about 200 years. So they refused to pay the tax to the British. The British accused the Palayakaras for trying to disturb the peace in the country. This led to the conflict between the British and the Palayakaras. First, they captured Madurai. Then they moved to Tirunelveli to attack Pulidevar, as he continued to disobey the British government. On knowing the arrival of the British, Pulidevar gathered support from the West Palayakaras. These West Palayakaras supported Pulidevar with weapons and soldiers. Therefore, the power of Pulidevar's army force increased. On seeing the power of Pulidevar, Colonel Heron abandoned the plan of attacking Pulidevar. That is, he left out the plan of attacking Pulidevar and he returned to Madurai. Later on, Colonel Heron was called by the British government and he was dismissed from his duty because he did not fulfill the task of defeating Pulidevar. Confederacy and alliance with the enemies of the British. First, we will see what is meant by confederacy and alliance. It means making an union and an agreement among group of people to work in a supportive manner. So, a union was made with the enemies of the British. தமிழ்ல எதிரிக்கு எதிரி நண்பன் சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, அந்த கான்செப்ட் தான் இங்க பார்க்க போறோம். 3 Pathan officers, namely Miana, Mudimiya, Nabikan Katar, supported the Tamil Palayakaras against the British and the Nawabs. So, the 3 Pathan officers, here the Pathan means the Afghans residing in India. So, the Afghan officers who are residing in India are called as the Pathan officers. So they were against the British and the Nawabs, but they supported the Tamil Palayakaras. On knowing this, Pulidevar made a union and maintained a close relationship with these Pathan officers. Pulidevar maintained close relationship with the Pathan officers. He also formed a confederacy, that is, he formed a union with the other Palayakaras to fight against British. All Maravar Palayakaras except the Palayakara of Sivagiri supported Pulidevar. So Pulidevar got the support from all the Maravar Palayakaras. Here the Maravar Palayakaras refers to the Palayakaras of the west. He got the support from all the Palayakaras of the west except the Palayakara of Sivagiri. In the east, the Palayakara of Panjalamguruchi and Ettayapuram did not join the confederacy with Pulidevar. Kalakadu battle. Again Mahfuz Khan proceeded to Tirunelveli with a huge army. We have already seen Mahfuz Khan is the brother of Arcad Nawab. This time he proceeded to Tirunelveli to attack Pulidevar with a huge army which contained 1,000 sepoys from the British and 600 sepoys from the Nawabs. So, with a total of 1600 sepoys, he proceeded towards Tirunelveli to attack Pulidevar. Meanwhile, Pulidevar got the support from the king of Travancore. A troop of 2000 soldiers joined Pulidevar. In this battle, Mahafaz Khan was defeated. This battle is called as Kalakadu battle because it took place in a place called Kalakadu. In this battle, finally, Mahafaz Khan was defeated. Yusuf Khan and Pulidevar. First, we will see briefly about Yusuf Khan. Yusuf Khan is also known as Khan Sahib. He was born to a Saiva Pillai family. His original name was Mardanayagam. Later on, he converted to Muslim and renamed himself as Yusuf Khan. Even though there was a conflict between the British and the Palayakaras, from 1756 to 1763, an opportunity was given to British to interfere in the affairs of Tirunelveli, which was governed by the king of Travancore. So Yusuf Khan was the person who was sent by the British and the Nawabs to deal with the affairs of Tirunelveli. So don't confuse with the names over here. Yusuf Khan, Khan Sahib and Mardanayagam all refers to the same person. Therefore, Yusuf Khan was appointed by the British and the Nawabs and he was sent to Tirunelveli to deal with the affairs over there. Yusuf Khan was dealing with the affairs in Tirunelveli. By 1760, he received big guns and ammunition from Tiruchirappalli. Ammunition means the bullets that are used to fill the guns and the cannons. He received the big guns and ammunition from Tiruchirappalli and after that he started to battle with the Palayakaras, especially Pulidevar. Yusuf Khan started a battle to capture Nirkattum Seval. This battle lasted for 2 months. At last, on May 16, 1761, he captured major forts such as Nirkattum Seval, Panayur and Vasudevanallur. We already know that Nirkattum Seval is the native place of Pulidevar. In the meantime, French was totally defeated by the British in a battle. Therefore, the unity among the Palayakaras in the southern part of Tamil Nadu started to break. Palayakaras of Seidur, Travancore, Uthumalai and Surandai moved away from the confederacy made with the Pulidevar. That is, they joined to move away from the union that they made with the Pulidevar. Next, Yusuf Khan was put to death in 1764 by Nawabs and British. So, ingana twist irukku. Actually, Yusuf Khan was sent by the British and Nawabs to deal with the affairs in Tirunelveli. But at last, he was hanged to death by these Nawabs and British. The reason is, Yusuf Khan started to negotiate with the Palayakaras without informing the administration. So, he was hanged to death by the British and the Nawabs. Adhaadu, the Yusuf Khan, he started to mingle with the Palayakaras and he had some discussions with these Palayakaras and he came to an agreement without informing the administration, that is the British. So he was hanged to death by the British and Nawabs in 1764. Pulidevar maintained a close relationship with the Pathan officers and he also formed a confederacy with the other Palayakaras. Meanwhile, the British got the support from the Raja of Ramanathapuram and Pudukottai. Now, Pulidevar tried to get the support of Hyder Ali of Mysore and the French. but Hyder Ali was unable to support Pulidevar as he was already locked in a battle with Marathas. So Hyder Ali was want to support Pulidevar, but he was unable to support Pulidevar as he was already locked in a battle with the Marathas. Fall of Pulidevar. After the death of Yusuf Khan, Pulidevar recaptured his native place Nirkatam Seval in 1764. However, Pulidevar was defeated by Captain Campbell in 1767. But again, Pulidevar escaped from the prison and unluckily he was again caught by the British. But this time Pulidevar was put to exile. Exile means he was taken away from his home country to another country and he was not allowed to re-enter his home country. This is called as exile. That is in Tamil நாடு கடத்தல் சொல்றோம் இல்லையா, that is called as exile. So therefore it is believed that Pulidevar was dead in exile. So finally in 1767 the revolt of the great brave Pulidevar came to an end. We saw the revolt of Pulidevar against the British and the Nawabs. In this revolt, we should not forget an important character. He is Ondi Veeran. Ondi Veeran led one of the army unit of Pulidevar. He fought against British and Nawabs and caused great damage to the British army. In a battle, Ondi Veeran's hand was chopped off. On seeing that, Pulidevar was very much worried. But Ondi Veeran consoled Pulidevar by saying that loss of his hand is only a minor thing, and he was very much proud for causing a great damage in enemy's fort. So therefore the loyalty and patriotism of Ondi Veeran is clearly proved here. Finally, we will have a quick review of the revolt of Pulidevar, which was started in 1755. In March 1755, Mahfuz Khan, along with the British army under the control of Colonel Heron, they proceeded towards Tirunelveli. First, they conquered Madurai, and on seeing the increased power of Pulidevar, Colonel Heron abandoned the plan of attacking Pulidevar. Therefore, Colonel Heron was dismissed from his duties. Next comes the confederacy and alliance with enemies of the British. Here, the Pathan officers supported the Tamil Palayakaras, so therefore Pulidevar maintained a good relationship with these Pathan officers, and also the Palayakaras of the west supported Pulidevar and they made a union. Pulidevar also asked the support of Hyder Ali of Mysore. Even though Hyder Ali wants to support Pulidevar, but he was locked in a battle with Marathas. On the other side, British got the support from the Rajas of Ramanathapuram and Pudukottai. Next comes the Kalakadu battle. This battle is called as Kalakadu battle because the battle took place in a place called Kalakadu. In this battle, Mahfuz Khan was defeated by Pulidevar. Next comes Yusuf Khan and Pulidevar. Yusuf Khan is also called as Khan Sahib or Mardanayaga. Yusuf Khan was appointed by the Nawabs and the British to deal with the internal affairs of Tirunelveli. Yusuf Khan started to conquer the regions of Tirunelveli like Nirkatum Seval, Panayur and Vasudevanallur. Nirkatum Seval was the native place of Pulidevar. Yusuf Khan started to negotiate, that is, he started to mingle with the Padayakaras and he was in agreement with them. On seeing this, the Nawabs and the British hanged Yusuf Khan to death. After the death of Yusuf Khan, Pulidevar re-entered and captured the native place Nirkatam Seval. But he was defeated by Captain Campbell in 1767. Finally, Pulidevar died in exile. Finally, the revolt of Pulidevar came to an end in 1767.
Hello and welcome to Yoga Eye Exercises. Lisa and Sukadev of Yoga Vidya welcome you for practice for new insights, relaxed eyes and improved eyesight. You can do this exercise standing, sitting on a chair or sitting cross-legged on the floor. Wherever you're sitting, close your eyes and feel your eyes and become aware you want to be grateful to your eyes and you want to do something good for your eyes. Open your eyes, look towards the right and towards the left, towards the right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Close your eyes, feel your eyes, and with each exhalation imagine you send relaxing energy, light energy from your abdomen to your eyes or through your eyes. Open your eyes again, look up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Close your eyes, feel your eyes, and with each exhalation send relaxing energy from your abdomen to your eyes and through your eyes. Open your eyes again. Now look to the upper right, lower left, 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 upper right, lower left. Close your eyes. Send relaxing energy to your eyes. Open your eyes again. Look towards the upper left, lower right, upper left, lower right, upper left, lower right, upper left, lower right, upper left, lower right. Close your eyes and send relaxing energy from your abdomen towards your eyes. Open your eyes again and make now circular movement clockwise. Look up and then slowly to the right and to the bottom and to the left and up to the right, down, and continue a few times. Try to make it complete circles and not just squares. This practice also helps to harmonize the two hemispheres of the brain. Now, other direction, counterclockwise. Do slow conscious movement. And slowly close your eyes and feel the relaxing energy of your abdomen go into your eyes. Now open up your eyes again and stretch out your right arm, thumb, the level of your eyes. Look towards your thumb. Look far away. Back to your thumb. Now look towards the tip of your nose, to your thumb, far away, your thumb, tip of your nose, thumb, far away, thumb, tip of your nose, thumb, far away, thumb, tip of your nose, thumb, and far away. Close your eyes, lower your hand, breathe a few times, and send relaxing energy into your eyes and through your eyes. Now, lift up your hands a little bit and rub your palms, warming up your palms and increasing the life force, the prana in your hand and your hand chakras. Put your palms over your eyes and feel the energy of your palms radiate into your eyes. Feel that calming, soothing, relaxing energy. Slowly relax your hands, lower your hands. And one more time, rub your palms, developing warmth in your palms, feeling the energy in your palms. And put your palms over your eyes and feel the relaxing energy of your palms radiate into your eyes. Slowly lower your hands. Remain seated for a few moments. Breathe a few times deeply. Feel the relaxation of your eyes, relaxation of your mind. You can do this wonderful breathing exercise every day. Your eyesight will improve. You don't need to get headache. And you come to clearer and clearer insights. Lisa and Sukadev wish you a day full of insight.
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ